Hello, everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene. Let me see if I can move this camera a little bit. It's better. So I'm wearing a frame here. Today is the 7th, I believe, of the month of July. And I found out some information about the situation with the investigation. I was going to wait until I had more information about what's going to happen with the individual, the perp. But they gave me the information, at least as far as the person's name. The perp's name is Tom Burnett from Massachusetts. He's the one that's been stealing my money. Oh, is this even center? Now it is. Whoa. Yeah, this stand is one of the things that's got to be changed, because this thing is just crappy. Alright, so make sure I didn't stop recording. Okay, good. Yeah, I know. I'm going to start over if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm in the process of trying to come up with a video of what to design about today's video. Don't let the stars get in your eyes by blowing a wad. That probably sounds interesting. It's the title. I thought it would take some time to explain that maybe it should be called Don't Let the Stars Get in Your Eyes but Not Blowing a Wad. But then again, that's kind of even more confusing, because what, in this case, the original Perry Como song is called Don't Let the Stars Get in Your Eyes, Don't Let the Moon Break Your Heart. Which has to do with relationship and romance and the excitement of romance. So it's a little different. Now clearly, if you were to go ahead and spend the kind of money that is out there for some of this gear, and you're not going to use a quarter of the features of that gear, you're just throwing money away. Okay, that's the short, skinny of the whole video. It's not just go out there and buy $300, $400, $500 worth of extra features. It's spending $2,000 or $3,000 on a unit, a controller that's is way more than you need, and it's, of course, everybody likes to bundle features into equipment, and there's a lot of reasons why. Unfortunately, as we all learn, the more stuff you throw into a piece of gear, the less adequate it becomes at doing its job at the one thing. In other words, you can throw a whole ton of extra features in, but if it doesn't do the main task that was in the hand, as well as the one that only does just that task, then that's just a colossal waste of money. So therefore we have the two video processors I mentioned in the video. One of them has a VGA input for a computer and one camera input, which seems to be the most practical in the long term. The specific chroma keyer, but it only has 2 channels, also is practical, even though it's more expensive than the VGA one. The problem is with the VGA one and the freestanding chroma keyer is they are not well-known products. I have looked on YouTube for reviews on them. I have not found a single review. I cannot find the model number. I cannot find anything that tells me anything about the hardware. So basically, I have no idea how good they are as far as performance. And that's going to mean that for somebody who's going to spend, you know, money on studio equipment, that could be a problem. Okay? It's not the only one, but it certainly is one to consider. Another thing to consider is the fact is that we also have a space problem. And that is the studio itself is very small. That hasn't changed. My studio hasn't shrunk in the wash. It's still the same size it's always been. It's just that there's a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, because it's a regular living room, and the multimedia room is kind of like a mud room. It's kind of like a rec room, or all that. It's always a rec. It's what you also call it, the rec room, because it's always got pieces of stuff here and there hanging everywhere. So, you know, if I want to start buying, you know, all this expensive equipment, and I'm not going to be able to fully utilize it all because there's no room to put it anywhere. For example, let's talk about the Roland V4, sometimes known as Iterol V4. Okay, now how does this work? Well, what this is, it's got 4 channels, right? And you can use 2 at a time. All right, you can have like 2 cameras, or a camera and a computer screen. Although it's not quite as good as that because it doesn't have VGA input, so it depends on the computer having composite output connection, which through my low VGA composite adapter does. But we all know that the picture of that kind of sucks dodo eggs, especially if you're trying to read it. But anyway, so the idea is you can set the camera up, have me, say, sitting on this greenish brown couch, and let's say we had this whole piece of black, I can't wear black because I'm not wearing, you don't see me on the upper part of my body, I'm not wearing black, but if I was having a black lapel microphone on and I had if I was standing up, you saw my black skirt, you would definitely realize I couldn't use black chroma key because that would never work. Okay? However, I can always shoot a green or blue. Well, yeah. I can use blue because right now I'm not wearing blue. Okay, I'm wearing kind of a mauve purpley on top of a white t-shirt. So yes, I could certainly do that. The whole point is that that's one thing I was going to get is the chroma key stands for the backgrounds. Not expensive, probably inexpensive actually. But I got my latest electric bill, and it reminds us of another issue that is always a problem: energy. Certainly, yes, a new set of equipment will use less power. For example, as I understand it, there's several video switchers that can run on 12 volts. I think the Roland can as well, except it's got negative tip and positive ring, which is kind of awkward because that's completely backwards of everything in my studio. I really kind of wish it was the other way around because then everything in my studio would all match, plugs and things like that. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so the point here, the whole video was my little shopping trip was not only just to show you some of the stuff that I wanted to buy, but also some of the stuff that I like to buy for my own personal hobbies as well. And now here's where you come in, guys, boys and girls. I'd like to have your opinion of what I should buy because, you know, eventually this is going to become a revenue generating channel. Technically it already is. It's just that with the AdSense kind of acting like nonsense for a lot of people, it makes it harder to make money with AdSense on YouTube. Sorry, it's true. It really is. On the other hand, yeah, you know, I've seriously got to say that I want to do more than just buy the gear. But then when I look at the kind of videos I've done in the last few months, they're not really that exciting. I'm looking at one of them right now. Me sitting on a couch outside with a cat next to my head. Not really much to see. Not very dramatic. Not very exciting. Except, of course, it's me sitting on a couch with a cat next to my head. Okay, so does this money also cover me to do some unboxing demos and things like that? I would think so. So I contacted YouTube channel, granted, the woman I'm working with, her name is Tina. I said, could you send me a copy of the terms of service? I really would like to read the terms of service completely while I'm making my shopping trip. Because that way I can make sure I'm not doing something that's against the rules. Okay? Now, we already know the crook supposedly booked a room, a luxury hotel room in Florida with the money. I don't know why or what he was thinking. I don't know why anybody would want to go to Florida in the middle of July. But I'll tell you right now, that ain't to where I'm going, honey. I actually told her, I said, if I can, if the permits it, I'd like to go to Barrow, Alaska, and video and YouTube my whole trip. Completely videotape it. So people can see Barrow, Alaska. Maybe I might even go to the north, what they call North Pole, Alaska, and go to the store there. Maybe I can meet up with Santa Claus, or things like that. Things that I think would be more along the lines of what this channel is. At this point, however, we don't have the money yet, so it's all ideas. It's not any done deals yet, okay? I said I also would like to hire an employee. Because one of the things here is no matter if I'm shooting just on the couch here, or if I'm sitting in the studio, especially in the studio when it starts to become a big project, that's what I need. That's what I need a video technician to go through and decide camera angles, especially when interviewing guests. That's the reason I wanted to get this stuff, so I can be able to interview guests and being able to give more in-your-face demonstrations. And some of you might be going this, why don't you consider improving your video and going with high definition video? Well, because the first problem is we still have one major point that is as unchangeable as the Earth's sun's orbits, and that is the fact is we only have Frontier for my home internet, and Frontier is only 1.5 megabits per second up and 18 megabits per second down. That's the theoretical high speeds. It actually is a little less than that, but not too much less. And T-Mobile is nice and smoking fast, but it's not flawless either. Now I'm thinking about getting myself the iPad. You saw the iPad 3 on the video. And I said to myself, well, if I was going to spend my money, why wouldn't I buy a brand new iPad Pro? Because once they price the price on it, it's like $1,500, and that's a lot of money but it's brand new, so which means I don't have to worry about it becoming obsolete so fast. And then, like I said, that I could use the Apple Pencil, and I can, draw things on the screen, and, like pointing things, arrows, and then we just freehand drawing. That's the kind of stuff that's kind of cool. In fact, could I actually draw my comic strips again with the pencil? Huh, that's an interesting thought. Now, and of course, Mr. Cat here. Ooh, you're heavy. Yeah, I know. Come here. Wow. I'm going to put it on before fall. He jumps off. He has very sharp claws. He's very, very heavy cat. He's a real big kitty. He may be fixed, but he's still heavy. And you can hear his thump, 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 thump with the tail again. He swings it back and forth. Alright, so we're finished. So, there are some ideas. Of course, it all depends on how long the court cases are going to take for the arraignment, the prosecution, the civil court case, and other things. But hopefully, it should happen pretty soon. From what they said to me, that I might have my money Monday. I must tell you that I am getting very excited about it. And my cat just moved out. Yeah. He moves the table. He really moves that table. He's got so much mass on him. He jumped off the table and onto the railing, and the whole table shit back. Yeah. Oh, so let me ask you something now. Since obviously we're talking about technology, what about an iPhone replacement? Think about it. There's the iPhone 6, iPhone 6s, okay, iPhone 6s Plus, and of course, I don't think there's iPhone 7s, a 7 Plus also. Big phone. I have to admit, I'm not really so much sure if I'm into the big size of the phones. I really kind of want something a little smaller. Much in the cat on top of the refrigerator. I kind of want something a little smaller. That's why I'm thinking about getting an iPhone SE. But the biggest capacity of the iPhone SE is 64 gigabytes of RAM. Which, I mean, for most things it'd be fine. You know, 64 gigabytes would allow me to keep the same form factor as my iPhone 4S, which is a 4-inch screen. And it's should be more than enough capacity for me. Besides, this fits in my purse. Dory had a 6S. She had the beast. I mean, it wasn't the Plus. It was very good. No, it was a real iPhone 6. It was big. Okay? And I couldn't really see putting one of those in my purse because it was just felt a little too big. And on top of that, if Michelle wanted an iPhone 6S or 6, she would not be able to fit it into this existing camera tripod stand she has now. Nope, will never fit. Never fit. It's just too big. It won't fit into the camera stand. Yeah, that's exactly the problem. This is the stand that we use for everything. So, yeah, wouldn't be a real problem. iPads. I was thinking about originally getting the iPad 3, 3rd generation. Okay? And that was because that was the last one with the 30-pin dock connector. Not that I have a lot of dock accessories for the iPad. Now Apple's using something called AirPlay, which means that there's no real need for a composite cable anymore to do things, or a VGA cable, because the fact is that the iPad doesn't need those kind of things. I do have an adapter for a lightning connector to 30-pin dock connector, but I don't really know if it supports the VGA adapter. I don't have the VGA adapter anyway. I was going to buy it, but I never did. I have I have the composite audio video output adapter from my iPhone 3GS. I use my 4S, but I never really got into the VGA or HDMI adapter. So definitely thinking more along the lines of going with a few new Apple accessories. Now, obviously, if they say I can go take a trip to Barrow, Alaska, that's going to be about $2,500, I think, for a round trip. I might be wrong. I've got to double check that. I would like to go to Barrow, Alaska, because I have always said I want to go to Alaska. At least I could get on an airplane and fly to Alaska, even though I'd really rather take the train. But I could still get on a plane, go to Alaska, maybe I can go to Barrow, maybe it's a little too far out, or maybe I can go to, like I said, down to Fairbanks, or to this area called North Pole, Alaska, which is the outskirts of Fairbanks, and check that out. I think the Fairbanks tickets is one way, it's like $1,200, from Seattle, Tacoma to Fairbanks. Yeah, that'd be nice, but I don't know if that covers the trips, and obviously that would have to be a round trip ticket, so and then of course I have to pay for lodging in there, so that definitely is something that might end up being just a giant idea of it whenever it happens. Okay? Well, what's going to happen? What are we going to do? What is our next plan? What's our next thing? What do we want to do when somebody gets in their hot little paws? Mention microphones. I still want to get some of those lapel microphones that clip on my clothes. Absolutely. I also still want to buy a few small things, but then again, depending what the terms of service say, those small things may have to end up becoming big things. For example, the Roland V4EX or the Roland V8EX. Now, I'll talk about the V4 first because it's a little cheaper. It has 4 inputs, 2 TAM-based converters. It has a touchscreen on built-in LCD touchscreen. So you don't need to necessarily hook up an external monitor to check the controllers. You can just basically use the touchscreen on the screen, and you can see pictures of what you're selecting and all that. It has VGA input for a computer, so it has similar features of the cheap VGA thingy, but then it has a few nice features that, of course, that are worth a lot more money than the cheap Chinese VGA overlayer. But at least it's a name brand, so I can always get service for it, and if it breaks or something like that. It's certainly nice technology, and also because it doesn't need to buy separate monitors for it, is that I can connect it. I just connect my existing camera to it, connect it to my existing computers, such as the Intel Core 2 Dual iMac, using the appropriate cable. I think it uses a mini DVI connector, micro DVI connector for because it's an older Intel Core 2 Dual Mac, or maybe go ahead and buy a brand new Mac and buy a Thunderbolt adapter and connect to it that way, or if there isn't any external screen adapter. There's a lot of ideas that you could do. Oh yeah, and it's HDMI input too. So, however, I gotta be honest when I say this. This part I think is gonna be the most hilariously stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay, it has HDMI inputs, right? For standard definition, okay, of 576p, of 576i, and 480p, 480i, right? Like, you really need an HDMI connector for that. At the same time, you got a coaxial connector on it for the standard microphone, camera, and yet, while you can carry the sound to the system, and it mix the sound levels, you can't do jack shit when you're actually doing with the video, because unfortunately my camera doesn't have a built-in microphone. But it does have an option to have, it has 2 line level inputs for sound, but then again, what else has it got? It's got, there's no sound output except on the output streaming HDMI connector, or, and this is really where it gets fun and confusing, or using USB, you can stream into your computer and use something like QuickTime Movie to edit the sound tracks, video tracks. So USB is a very, well, maybe it's because I had a lousy dongle, but I seriously kind of wonder why Roland couldn't have put on instead a 10-base T connector, and so you could go ahead and put an external MPEG encoder in, so you could just go straight out the channel, or whatever. Anyway, the point is, the device is neat, but there's a lot of features on it I don't really think are going to work in my favor, and that's some of those features I just mentioned. When I'm doing things on YouTube, one of the things is I want to buy good equipment that's going to last. Now, and also, I can use some of the money for unboxings. That's exactly what we're going to do. Because, I mean, try the devices. For example, would I buy the cheap 2-channel come here as a test and as a, yes, obviously. I'd buy that for $388. And I'd buy the one for the VGA for about $300. And I would try those two out. And see how they work, and then then I'll go ahead and buy the Roland V4EX, which will certainly be a lot more money, and see how that works in comparison to the other two. But then again, like I said in my video, I also want an iPad, so I definitely am thinking was going to originally go for an iPad 3rd generation, but maybe I might just go for the I don't know, maybe I might just go for the, a new iPad Pro. I don't know. You guys, if you got any ideas, I'm all ears. I will certainly read them. Doesn't mean I might necessarily jump at your suggestions, but again, we don't know how long the court case is going to take. So because we don't know how long the court case is going to take, all I know is that we have to wait for whatever happens with the prosecution of this crook, Mr. Tom Burnett of Massachusetts. Now, a story said, how could a guy from Massachusetts come to Connecticut and steal your mail? Well, sometimes my landlord hires people from other states to help him out, and I know he has 2 maintenance guys from other states, or Tom Burnett may be just one of the visitors that visited some of the other neighbors and basically just saw the mail and took it. Just easily. Dory's here today. She's crashed on the couch again. So that's pretty much all that's going on. But since I didn't get the latest electric bill, as I said, it's $111 for next month. I'm going to definitely need to consider finding ways to really cut our electric consumption, because I don't know if the YouTube Creator Grant money also will be to pay my electric bill. See, I don't have the terms of service. Because I don't have the terms of service in front of me, I don't know what I can do legally with the money except buy stuff. And even there is questions of what you can buy and when. So not exactly that great. Okay, but I suppose it's better than having no money at all. Just nice if I knew exactly what I was allowed to buy. Alright guys, listen, I'm going to let you go. This is long enough. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the little blue square in the lower right hand corner, of course. Check us out on SoundCloud. Yeah, I just did a video on SoundCloud. So, our audio on SoundCloud. That's up there. And also check us out on yourlisting.com. And of course, go to us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/BICHELA, and check us out there. And please don't forget to become a patron. I never really had any kind of mandatory pledge amount, so you can kind of pledge what you feel like doing. Every pledge you give is going to be how we're going to start using more of our financing. So I know some of the big people on my channels get a lot of pledges. I know that Big Clive does, and Vlog does, and yeah, but even, you know, Databits does, and Westlife does, Westlife does also. But I'm not quite as big as any of those guys, and of course, so does Adapt 2030. Well, if you guys would like to make a donation to Patreon, please do so. If you want to become a monthly patron, that'd even be great. Even if it's like $1 a day, you know, you can get yourself, you know, for about the price of 1 cup of coffee each day. You can go ahead and you could send a membership to me, and that will help me to work on fixing and improving our media as we go. Alright guys, for now, thanks for watching this. Now I'm going to forget to shut this off. Okay, talk to you later. Bye bye.